Hello friends, today's topic is what is terrorism and what should India do to tackle the menace of terrorism. My lesson plan includes why terrorism is in the news, what are the government responses, what is terrorism, difference between terrorism and insurgency, important terrorist outfits in India, consequences of terrorism, countermeasures by the government of India and different state governments to tackle terrorism, and finally conclusion. Friends, on 22nd April 2025, 26 tourists were killed by a group of terrorists. In addition, several tourists were also injured. This is the first terrorist attack upon civilians after the revocation of Article 370 and the downgrading of the state of Jammu and Kashmir to the Union Territory. The Resistance Front, an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba, has taken the responsibility of the terrorist activities. However, the security agency has yet to confirm the veracity of the claim put forward by the Resistance Front. The Resistance Front alleged that at least 85,000 domicile certificates were issued to non-locals, thereby changing the demographic composition of Jammu and Kashmir. Important leaders like the President of the US, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, President of France condemned these dastardly acts of terrorists and sympathized with the members of the families of the victims and assured all kinds of help to the government of India. After this dastardly act of terrorists killing at least 26 tourists, the Union Home Minister rushed to Srinagar, took meetings of all top brass of the J&K government, assessed the situation. Police and paramilitary forces were pressed into service for the massive search operation of perpetrators of the attack. India announced closure of border with Pakistan at Bagha. It also put a curb on a special visa program under SARC. The government of India also suspended the Indus Water Treaty of 1960, whereby the waters of the Indus, Chenab and Jhelum were to be used by Pakistan. On the other hand, waters of Ravi, Byaj and Satluj were to be used by India. Since India is a riparian state where from all rivers passes through and then go to Pakistan, India made treaty in 1960 at the behest of the World Bank, whereby it sacrificed a lot for the sake of the peace in the subcontinent. But in spite of the sacrifice made by India, Pakistan never relented its effort and always tried to make disturbances within the Jammu and Kashmir by pressing terrorist outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and supported them to infiltrate into Jammu and Kashmir. For the last 30 to 40 years, Pakistan has been indulging in cross-border terrorism through the non-state actors like different terrorist outfits like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed or Hindustan Mujahideen. India has also downgraded the diplomatic relations with Pakistan. The Bagha border was shut down for an indefinite period. Now, friends, question arises as to what is terrorism, how we can define terrorism and how it is different from insurgency. To use indiscriminate violence against civilians to achieve its desired goal. It creates a sense of fear among people, coercing the government to accept its demands. The modus operandi of terrorist outfits are sabotaging the government installations, shooting of eminent personalities to create havoc in the society, bombing in the crowded place in order to make huge impact in the media, and finally cyber attacks. Sometimes non-state actors are also supported by a state government. For example, in the case of Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan has been supporting different terrorist outfits to infiltrate into India and to cause political instability within the Indian territory of Jammu and Kashmir. These terrorist outfits often damage infrastructure like schools, colleges, hospitals, government installations. They resort to suicide bombing, Fiadin attack. They adopt propaganda, radicalize youths. They smuggle weapons and funds across borders to sustain their illegal activities. Now question is, what is difference between terrorism and insurgency? Friends, as you know that terrorism is a kind of using indiscriminate violence or fear in the minds of people and coercing government to achieve certain political, ideological, religious or social goals. It is carried out by non-state actors. On the other hand, insurgency is a prolonged and organized activities aimed at destabilizing the existing government and replacing it with its own government. While the main focus of terrorist outfits is to get traction from people, from government. On the other hand, insurgency has a definite political vision. It wants to control over a certain territory. It wants to overthrow the existing government. While terrorist outfits attack on civilians, on crowded markets to get maximum impact. On the other hand, in insurgency, there is always police and paramilitary force as the prime targets. They do not target civilians so that they should not lose support of the masses. While terrorist outfits operate clandestinely to evade security forces, on the other hand, insurgent groups operate on guerrilla warfare. In short, while terrorism involves to achieve a specific ends, on the other hand, insurgency involves the operation by well-organized groups to achieve its definite political goal. Friends, now question arises as to what are the causes for the rise of terrorism in India. The first cause is cross-border terrorism supported by Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir for the last 30 years. The second cause is a feeling of separatism in the northeastern states like Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, Assam because of the perceived neglect or oppression. The third cause is ethno-religious conflicts. Friends, as you know that in India there has been a continuous spurt of communal violence for the last 75 years. The long-standing disputes between the majority Hindu and minority Muslims further causes communal violence across India. The next cause for the rise of terrorism in India is Naxalism. Friends, as you know that Naxalism has the ideology of Marxism, Leninism and Maoism. They want to overthrow the existing government by violence, by the use of guns, and the existing government has to be replaced by a classless society or a stateless society on the pattern of Marxism. Naxalites are very much active in the region of Red Corridor, which includes states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra and Odisha. And last but not the least, another factor for the rise of terrorism in India is the radicalization of youths. Radicalization is a process by which individuals or groups adopt extreme political, religious, and ideological beliefs, often leading to the use of violence. It is driven by a combination of push and pull factors. Push factors include a sense of marginalization, political grievances, land alienation, psychological trauma on account of the loss of loved ones. Pull factors include ideological appeal to promise justice and to get empowerment. Now, friends, I switch over as to how many terrorist outfits are operating in India. The most important terrorist outfit is Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, which was founded by Hafiz Syed in Pakistan in 1987. It was involved in 2001 Parliament attack and 2008 Mumbai attacks. It wants to liberate Kashmir from India. The second terrorist outfit is Jaish-e-Mohammed. It was established by Azhar Masood in 2000. It was involved in Pulwama attack in 2019, whereby 40 CRPF personnels were killed. It was also involved in Pathankot air base attack in 2016. The third important terrorist outfit is Hizbul Mujahideen. It was established in 1989 in Jammu and Kashmir. It wants secession of Jammu and Kashmir from India and integration with Pakistan. It coordinates with Pakistan-based terrorist outfits and gets logistics supports from there. Another important terrorist outfit is Indian Mujahideen. It is an offshoot of Islamic Student Movement of India, that is SIMI. It was established in 2000 AD. It wants to establish a caliphate in India and retaliates against perceived neglect of Muslim communities. It has been involved in the bombing in Delhi in 2011 and Hyderabad in 2013. Another important terrorist outfit is Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent. It was founded in 2014 as a regional branch of Al-Qaeda, which operated from Afghanistan and Pakistan. Its modus operandi is online propaganda and lone wolf attack. Its activities are very much restricted in India, but because of its global network, its activities are always a matter of concern for India. The branch of ISIS emerged in 2016 in India. Its aim is to establish caliphate in the Indian subcontinent. It is very much active in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala and other states. It targets Hindus, Shia Muslims and security forces to create communal discord. Another terrorist outfit is Communist Party of India Maoist, which came into being in 2004 by merging People's War Group and Maoist Communist Center of India. Another Naxalite outfit is People's Liberation Guerrilla Army, which is very much active in the state of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Maharashtra. Apart from these terrorist activities, there are other terrorist outfits also which operate within India and outside. These are Khalistan Liberation Force and Babbar Khalsa International. They seek to establish an independent Khalistan. However, their position and strength have very much weakened in recent years. There are also certain terrorist outfits operating in northeastern states, and these terrorist outfits are NSCN in Nagaland, Alpha I in Assam and Bodoland areas. These insurgent groups want autonomy within Indian state or secession from the Indian Union. However, after the Assam Accord in 1985 and Mizo Accord in 1987 and the effective implementation of Armed Forces Special Power Act, AFSA, bone of these terrorist outfits have been broken in recent years and they have become now fragile. Now friends, what are consequences of terrorism? Number one, destruction of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir. Friends, as you know that tourism is one of the important parts of the economy of Jammu and Kashmir, and without tourism the economy of Jammu and Kashmir cannot thrive. And so if there is a terrorist attack on tourists, there is a likelihood of dampening of the spirit of tourists visiting Jammu and Kashmir. The second consequences are destruction of infrastructure, loss of lives of civilians, terrorists and security forces, exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from Jammu and Kashmir. It causes political instability, it hampers political processes, it creates waves between Hindu and Muslim communities, thereby creating communal tensions. It leads to alienation of youths and push them for radicalization. It strains the resources of the government, and the scarce resource of the government are to be diverted for security concerns rather than on development programs. It strains the relation between India and Pakistan, bordering sometimes on the outbreak of war. Friends, as you know that in the last 75 years, India and Pakistan fought 4 wars. It is another thing that in every war, Pakistan was defeated by India. But in spite of these reverses, Pakistan is still engaged in supporting non-state actors like terrorist outfits of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. It also leads to air strike or surgical strike by India in 2016 and 2019, like Balakot air strike. Now, what are the countermeasures that Government of India and different state governments adopted to mitigate or tackle the menace of terrorism across India? India has enhanced the surveillance of its border with Pakistan through drones, thermal imaging and motion sensors to curb cross-border infiltration by various terrorist groups. India has also adopted a comprehensive integrated border management program which includes electronic surveillance and physical barriers along the Indo-Pakistan border to prevent smuggling of arms and ammunition. The security forces regularly do search operations to flush out terrorists and dismantle their hideouts on the basis of intelligence inputs. India has also conducted surgical strikes in 2016 and 2019 to deter cross-border terrorism. In the Naxal-affected areas, the security forces launched Operation Green Hunt between 2009 to 2013 and Operation Prahar to target the strongholds of Naxalites in the areas of Bastar, of Chhattisgarh and Telangana. The security forces also pressed into service Cobra, that is Commando Battalion, for resolute action in the dense forest to trace out the hideouts of Naxalites. Government equipped security forces with adequate weaponry, bulletproof vests and night vision devices to enhance operational efficiency. The government established National Investigating Agency in 2008 to investigate terror-related crimes bypassing the jurisdiction of state governments. Armed Forces Special Power Act of 1958 was pushed into operation in the terrorist-affected areas of Jammu and Kashmir and northeastern states with wide powers to security forces. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 UAPA was further strengthened, whereby both individuals and organizations were designated terrorists. It provided prolonged detention without bail, seizure of assets linked with terror funding. The government also enacted PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, in order to track the illicit flow of money and provision of seizure of ill-gotten assets. The Government of India has also banned several terrorist outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Taiba, CPI Maoist and Islamic State. Different intelligence agencies like IB, RAW and state intelligence bureaus are coordinating among themselves to facilitate real-time exchange of information. The central government has taken several measures for the upgradation and enhancement of infrastructure in terrorist-affected areas of Jammu and Kashmir and Naxal-affected areas of central India. The government has launched surrender as well as rehabilitation policy simultaneously, whereby if a Naxalite surrenders, he has to be rehabilitated, he has to be given vocational training and stipends. The central government as well as state government of Jammu and Kashmir launched the program of de-radicalization, whereby the support of local leaders were sought to counter the propaganda by extremists or terrorists. The government has resorted democratic process by holding a state assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir and Panchayat election. Government of India has used different international fora like the UN or Financial Action Task Force to hold Pakistan accountable for supporting terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. The Enforcement Directorate and Financial Intelligence Unit freeze assets linked to terror funding, crackdowns on drug traffickers and arms smugglers along the India-Pakistan border. To conclude, the Government of India has launched multi-pronged approach to counter terrorism in India. It has enhanced intelligence gathering, strengthened security operations, made stringent laws to deal with terrorist activities. It has also launched socio and economic development in terrorist affected areas of Jammu and Kashmir and Naxal affected areas of central India. It is worth noting that after the revocation of Article 370 and downgrading of the state of Jammu and Kashmir to Union Territory, the frequency of terrorist activity came down heavily in recent years. Similarly, the proactive approach of the Government of India and different state governments and security forces further led to the weakening of the Naxalite strongholds in central India. So much so that in 2025, the security forces killed more than 100 Naxalites within a short span of 4 months. It is hoped that by the sustained efforts, the Government of India and different state governments would be able to dismantle the terrorist networks in Jammu and Kashmir and Naxalite strongholds in central India. So friends, I have concluded my lecture. If you have any suggestion, please just give your feedback. Thank you very much.